All right, so Alabama 73 over South Florida feels like an absolute loss for them. The fan base is in shambles. Aaron, I'm not too tapped in to the UGA hive mind like you are. Is everybody just like super happy about the big SEC win yesterday? Huh? Yeah, 3-0.
No, they're not. They're not. Hey, listen,
South Carolina 24-14. Let's go, dude.
I mean, you make a couple chip shot field goals, it's 30-14. Maybe you feel a little bit better about that.
Yeah. Mike Bobo. How's everybody feeling about Mike Bobo today?
Yeah, people aren't too happy with my boy Bobo here. But I mean, you look at the game and you look at Carson was super efficient. 27-35, 269. He's been taking care of the football extremely well. They finally ran the ball well. Like Dejon and Georgia.
Hold on. How many touchdowns did he throw? How many touchdowns did he throw? The Carson Beck.
0.
Remember the high? Oh yeah. Oh, damn. My bad, dude. I didn't know. Dude,
Carson Beck of a season, 72%
I don't want to hear.
Exactly. 577 yards.
Yes.
I mean, he's
exactly.
been. No. It hasn't. What was it? Let me just defend it. You asked me a question here. They're not playing sexy football. They're not. I'll admit that right now. It's not sexy. It is very efficient. Good football. I don't know. They're playing good football. They're playing good football. I think people are overreacting because they're not putting up 40, 50 points per game right now. And they're not making it look easy, but it's still good football. It is good football and it's winning football. I think people need to take a deep breath.
You know who's playing good football? Michael Penix Jr. 27-35, just like Carson Beck, only 473 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. Okay, that's good football, Aaron. Carson Beck right now is a walking empty calorie game. Like you know about empty calories. You're a little skinny boy, like potato chips, right? Other stuff that don't actually, they have no value. Like Carson Beck's stat lines are empty calorie stat lines.
No, they're not. No,
they are.
It is. I would say that I think that the biggest difference between what I'm seeing from Georgia and say like a Washington right now, which is surprising me, is I haven't seen the elite explosiveness from the receivers. To me, that's the biggest difference. Yeah, you put some issues on Carson's not pushing the ball down the field or Carson's not doing this or that. I haven't seen these receivers make plays. And obviously you're missing your best receiver in Ladd McConkey, who's, was out for the 3rd straight game. But, I think Dom has played okay. He had some drops in the first game. Marcus Rosemead, Jack Saint finally got going a little bit in this game.
Such a good name.
Brock has been, somewhat non-existent. I know, got to find more creative ways to get him the ball, but there hasn't been that big time player making catches, making guys miss and running for touchdowns. I mean, you look at Washington, even on one of the tip passes, the guy caught it, man, a couple guys miss and runs for a 40, 50-yard touchdown. Georgia doesn't have that guy at the receiving position, which I'm a little bit shocked because I kind of looked at that spot and I said beginning of the season, this receiving core is the best and deepest receiving core Georgia's had in a decade. And yet no one to me has stood out. So put all the blame you want on Bobo not pushing the ball vertically down the field. Put all the blame on Carson not pushing the ball vertically down the field and the lack of explosive plays. I think Bobo kind of looked back and said, I don't know if I really trust this receiving core right now to win one-on-one matchups down the field because no one's doing it.
So that's
you have to play. You have to play to your personnel a little bit too.
No, for sure. But what I'm saying is, so you are saying if you're doing the math between are the receivers not looking good because the quarterback isn't getting in there, or they're not? You're just saying the receivers are just not winning.
The receivers aren't winning in my mind, or they're winning enough to make catches, or not winning enough to make explosive plays.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, you talk about Alabama, and then maybe an 8-4 team. This is kind of the first team with a pulse that Georgia played. Again, I don't think South Carolina is even particularly good. I mean, I really like
Spencer Rattler's damn good.
No, I was gonna say, I really love how well Spencer Rattler's played this year, but it's a team with obvious weaknesses. I mean, they're 1-2. Have you adjusted your Georgia expectations yet? You're gonna sit here and tell me that Alabama's gonna be 8-4. You still think Georgia's gonna win a national championship?
If not Georgia, then who else? Who's really impressed you this year?
Michigan.
I mean, Michigan was playing like dog crap yesterday. Michigan was played worse than Georgia yesterday.
Oh, really?
JJ McCarthy threw 2 picks early on. They looked like dog crap yesterday, Michigan. That's what I was saying. After Georgia game, I was like, okay, well, let's see what Michigan looks like versus Bowling Green to see if they got some juice. They won 31-6. JJ was 8 of 13, 143, 2 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Like, who in the country, T-Bob, right now is elite? There isn't an elite football team. Texas was losing the game at halftime, I believe.
Florida State
almost lost to Boston College.
Yeah, that final score was a little closer than the actual game was.
I'm just saying, like, why? I know you like to give me shit because I'm a Georgia guy here. No one has looked good this year. No one has looked elite for like a consistent 3 weeks. We're like, man, that is a national championship football team. There is not one. Right. So do I feel like Georgia can win it? Yeah, because I don't know anyone else that can right now. Okay. Like it is as wide open college football as it has ever been. There is not one team right now that you can say, I feel comfortable putting my mortgage on them winning a national championship. Everyone's vulnerable.
I still feel more comfortable, though, with almost any of the other teams in age, simply because at least they're going to be tested during this year. Like, I really cannot wait to see what happens the first time Georgia runs into a good team. Maybe by that time of the season, they're like much better and they figured everything out and they'll be great. But if they had to play a good team right now, they would lose, I think.
Good thing they'll have to play a good team for a while.
True.
And I said this a month ago. I said the best thing that could happen to Kirby Smart and to this Georgia football team is that you play a close game in week 3 versus South Carolina. And Kirby can go back into that locker room after the game and during the week and say, guys, you are a shell of the national championship team for the past 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And you better get your shit together if you want to win a national championship this year.
Yeah.
Because what we've seen so far is not good enough. Like this was the perfect game for Kirby Smart. You win.
That's true.
It wasn't as close as the score seemed in the fourth quarter. It was in hand. But you can kind of go back and say, guys, there's still a lot of work.
Bro, you're down 14-3 at half. It was shocking. It was shocking. It was truly shocking.